just some of the great trophies of years gone by. The Melbourne Cups, the actual famous trophies, 4 3/4 hours before the running of the 2001 edition of the Melbourne Cup. And with those beautiful trophies, you can get to see those at the Australian Racing Museum at Caulfield. They are currently on display. If you want to get in contact with us from anywhere around Australia, anywhere around the world today, this is our email address, thecup@network10.com.au. We'd love to hear from you, no matter where you are in Australia, and particularly Australians watching the race overseas, wherever you happen to be. Just drop us a line at thecup@network10.com.au. Time to have a look at the Cup field, gentlemen. And let's start off with Persian Punch #1. This overseas raider, he finished third, of course, in the race won by Jezebel in 1998. His jockey is Richard Quinn, who is a very accomplished horseman. David Ellsworth is the trainer. He's a very good stayer, Simon.
Very much so, Pete. I think he's the best of the internationals, mate. And talking with Les Benton last night, who has had a big hand in Vintage Crop and all our international horses coming over. Here's Persian Punch winning the Ascot Gold Cup over 4,000 metres.
Actually running second in the race, and it looked as though, Simon, at about the 400-metre mark that he was going to drop out. This is an indicator of how good a stayer he is, because, as you said, the race is 4,000.
Yeah, Pete, we know he can run time too over the 3,200 metres, and he's going to be up on the speed, and this rain-affected track today is going to help him.
Number 2 is Sky Heights, John, and this horse was buffeted from pillar to post in the Melbourne Cup going back 2 years ago. He came back with the name off the saddlecloth. He certainly took a few mental effects from that. Colin Alderson, the trainer, and he's got the best jockey in the business, Damien Oliver.
Yes, Pete, and I think he's the horse to beat. He's drawn barrier at 21. I think it's going to help the horse. Damien, a beautiful ride in the Caulfield Cup. The horse just got beaten. I do think he'll turn it round on Ethereal.
Ethereal.
Yeah. I do think he'll turn it around on her today. Here he is on the outside of Ethereal as they're going to the line. Damien Oliver, they tell me he was praying for rain last night. Well, he's got it. And this horse, I think, psychologically, he's right again. And I do feel that, you know what you just said last year, 2 years ago in the Melbourne Cup, he was never the same horse after that, but he is now.
And I reckon barrier 21 is a nice gate for him too. He wanted to be drawn out wide. The German raider is number 4, and that is Caetano, trained by Andreas Schutz, to be ridden by one of the world's great jockeys in Johnny Murtagh, who won 12 Group 1 races last year, Simon.
Yeah, very hard to sort of get a guide out of this horse, Pete. I'm a little bit worried on the rain-affected track over 3,200 metres. As we can see here, he's got some ability. This is only 2,000 metres, though, in Singapore.
And he's never been past 2,400 metres, interestingly enough.
That's the worry. Can he run the trip? But you can see him stretch out here. He's a horse that relaxes well, which is going to help him run the distance. So, you know, as long as he relaxes well, gets bottled up going out of the straight the first time, he may be a chance.
Yeah, you just get the feeling that he might be one of those one-pace stayers. Let's have a look at the 2 Godolphin horses now. First of them is number 5, and that is Give the Slip, trained by Saeed bin Saror, to be ridden by Richard Hills. And really, John, we don't know a lot about them.
We don't know much about them at all, Peter, but all we know is that in the last few days, the Godolphin have requested they water the track. And this is might be a bit of a lead-in for the punters. If they fancy the horses, have something on them, because the track is going to be rain-affected today, and it might help.
Marion Bard. Now, this horse, number 6, the other one of the Godolphin runners, Frankie Dettori, he's had a few rides in the Melbourne Cup. He finished second on Central Park a couple of years ago. This horse actually bled throughout the week.
Yeah, just one nostril though, Pete. That was on Tuesday morning, and all reports this horse is... Look, it's okay, you can recover from that. It wasn't too severe, so, you know, but when they've had a little hiccup in their preparation for a Melbourne Cup like that, I'll be going away from them, Pete.
OK, there are the first 6 horses in the 2 New Melbourne Cup. We've got the first race coming up, the Harvey Norman Cup Hurdle, and then we'll continue our look right through the field for the big one of the afternoon at 10 minutes after 3. We'll take a break. Hope you're enjoying the early stages of what is a soggy Melbourne Cup Day 2001. You're watching it around Australia in Network 10. If you're thinking of coming out, if you happen to be in Melbourne, why don't you join us for our great day of racing? They're at the stalls for the first. Here are the tote figures as they stand. Blue Star at $5.40, right in contention, along with Torval and Dean at $5.30. There's been a move for Zabuan at $4.50. It's trimmed up 60 cents. So you can see the red figures are the ones that have shortened, and that means that he's back on track, has been just about the best back runner in the race, in $1.40 to $4.70, and Fuego Bravo is at $23.60. That's what the tote has made of it. What have the bookmakers done? Tim Gossage.
Peter Donegan, thank you. He's back on track as the only horse that's really shortened since the opening mark has been put up by the bookmakers. He's, as you mentioned there, about 470 on the tote. He's almost a full point shorter in the bookmakers' ring. Blue Star, you're getting sort of unders on the tote. He's a couple of points longer down in the ring than what he's on the tote at the moment. And Pete, there's a massive drifter down here. Torval and Dean has blown out the gate. None of the connections have been seen having a bet.
Well, that's probably because of the disgraceful set of instructions that would have been given for Torval and Dean, Tim. I would venture to say that after the instructions that were given to the jockey, that it would possibly have no hope.
I don't think that's very fair, Pete.
Settle down. I'm not talking to you yet. Hang on.
No,
We're
that would
having
have been Robert Smoot, not me.
Let's have a look at the selections first of all. He's back on track from myself and let's see Torval and Dean. Well, Jen had to.
Zabuan in the back of my head.
From Simon, and who was that? Blue Star from Dan Mielicki and Zabuan from Gary Willits. Well, as they link up, Jennifer, how are you feeling?
I'm dreadful, Peter. I really do get extremely nervous when this horse races. I don't when we've got flat runners, but when we've got a hurdler, it really does frighten me. He has got 13 hurdles to get over. I have a lot of confidence in him. He's a very good jumper, and I'm just hoping he gets to the line safely and maybe in front.
We've got our fingers crossed for you, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hobart, the reason this horse is called Hobart, if he turns around, now, I wonder why he might be called Hobart. Let's see if we can just discover.
And Petey's also being ridden by
Andrea Beveridge.
She rides very well, this girl.
Yeah. Well, once he turns around, he's just having a nice look around.
You know,
Hobart.
on camera.
By the way, Adrian Garraway rides number 9, Kick It Here, and Brett Scott rides number 11.
There it is.
Is that a map of Tasmania, or it's pretty close to it?
Upside down it is.
Close enough.
Yeah, so that's the reason he got his name, Hobart, and he's moving into the gates here for the first. Here are the cup totes as they move in, and you can see that Persian Punch has been pretty solidly supported. Certainly Sky Heights has been really well supported, and you would think so. If this rain continues, it's only going to suit Sky Heights, gentlemen.
Yep, that's for sure, Pete. He loves it, he thrives on it. He's drawn a wide barrier, so he's not going to get
That's going to help him, Simon.
like he did 2 years ago. He's going to have his galloping room, and he'll dominate the race with Ollie on top.
For sure.
Let's see, very quickly, you rode in a hurdle race once, didn't you?
Yes, I actually, I didn't go very far. I didn't see the first, Pete, and I fell at the second.
Okay.
So it wasn't very interesting, but my instructions were pretty basic, you know, try and stay on.
And what did you think of the first hurdle?
I didn't see it.
Why?
Well, I had my eyes shut, actually, but I went over, I was in the middle of the pack, and you know, it was 100 yards to the first fence, and I looked up after we'd gone 200 yards.
The year they introduced seatbelts, wasn't it?
Here's a bloke who never rode in a hurdle, Gary Willits. He's up with Dan Mielicki.
Yes, good morning, Peter. No, I never rode a hurdle. They're nearly set to go from the Melbourne Cup start here.
Cup hurdle, the first event. Harvey Norman Cup hurdle, 3,200 metres. And they're about ready to go. Racing. And one of the first ones to appear was Zabuan, and on the inside he's back on track. Lesvos Ruler are all up there early with a great kick it as they get over the first jump. Zabuan allowed to drift back a little bit now. Then handy to those Classic Tudor in the all-white colours, and Fuego Bravo is wider out. So there's about 4 of them that vie for that early position of leading the Cup hurdle field onto the course proper. It's Kick It the Grey on the inside. Within the all-white colours is Classic Tudor, and Fuego Bravo's a little wider out. 2.5 lengths away to Celtic Revenge, and then came Lesvos Ruler with Torval and Dean handy. It's running about 6th or 7th at the moment. He's back on track on the inside, and Regal Royal 3 deep with a red cap as they get over the next jump. Then Blue Star and Hobart, and about 3 lengths away, settling down last now was Zabuan, so he's been allowed to drift right back after initially jumping out well. Classic Tudor is the leader at the next hurdle, almost in front of the winning post. He got over at 1.5 lengths in front. Fuego Bravo didn't jump it too well, and he's now back 3 wide about 4th as Lesvos Ruler went up into 2nd spot, and Kick It's on the rails 3rd. Fuego Bravo wider, and then Torval and Dean next as he's back on track hugging the rails. Back midfield was Celtic Revenge. Blue Star the inside saving ground from Regal Royal. 3 lengths to Zabuan on the inside of Hobart, who's last, but only about 8 to 10 lengths off the lead. To the next jump at the 1900 metres, and Classic Tudor hopped over at 2 lengths in front of Lesvos Ruler, and 3rd was Kick It. Torval and Dean getting a nice run 4th, about 1.5 lengths to he's back on track. Fuego Bravo's been sitting 3 deep, and then Regal Royal back on the inside. Blue Star about 2 lengths away. Hobart at the jump at the 1700. Hobart's 3rd last, and then Zabuan 2nd last, and now at the tail of the field was Celtic Revenge. About 1,600 left to travel, and Classic Tudor comes out to the next obstacle. He wanted to drift out a little bit. Oh, he's back on track. The favourite's fallen. He's back on track, fell there, and had a pretty bad fall, unfortunately. The jockey's okay. and they head to the 1400, and Classic Tudor's 2.5 in front of Les Vos Ruler at the next one. Kick at third. Torval and Dean's right there. He's had a pretty good run. Now they've put a gap on the others. 5 lengths to Blue Star, a length to Regal Royal, another 5 lengths away Hobart. A good long gap, then a Zabawan struggling, and so's Celtic Revenge, and Fuego Bravo's dropped out of it after sitting wide. 1,000 metres to travel, and Classic Tudor leads by a length on Les Vos Ruler, who's had a nice run. Kickett's been there all the way, and likewise Torval and Dean over the next one, and they're about 6 lengths in front of Regal Royal, and then came Hobart. Blue Star had a tumble there. Blue Star's out of business. He fell, and as they ran up to the turn, Les Vos Ruler goes for home. Kick 2 lengths on Classic Tudor. Torval and Dean up to third. Kick it 2 lengths away the grey. 8 lengths to Hobart. 4 to Regal Royal, and then Zabuan, and that's about it. Tailed off a Celtic Revenge and Fuego Bravo. They round the turn, 500 to go, and the leader is Les Vos Ruler. Torval and Dean has it in the sights, and 2 lengths to Kick It, and Classic Tudor 5 to Hobart. They came down to the second obstacle, second last obstacle. Les Vos Ruler led from Torval and Dean. Oh, slipping on the flat there. Classic Tudor crashed through the running rail. He slipped after jumping. At the last, Les Vos Ruler led Torval and Dean. Les Vos Ruler a length and a half. Torval and Dean still coming. They have it between them. 6 lengths to Kick It. Les Vos Ruler the inside. Torval and Dean picking him up. Torval and Dean the outside of Les Vos Ruler. Torval and Dean put his head in front, and he's skating all the way to the post. Torval and Dean to win a length. Les Vos Ruler second. 8 away Zabuan must have picked up 25 lengths in the home straight to run third, and then Kick It. Hobart next in Regal Royal. A long gap to Fuego Bravo. It was gone at the 2000. So was Celtic Revenge. A number of falls. Unfortunately, I can't say anything good, for he's back on track. That jockey is okay. The jockey on Classic Tudor up to his feet. It slipped on the flat and slipped right through the running rail.
Yeah, went right underneath it, Dan, but the horse has got up, and I notice the jockey's remounted and he's walking back down the straight. But congratulations to Jenny Chapman and Torval and Dean.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
It was a lovely ride. Craig Durden had it well poised, although it nearly made a mess of the second last, and that's where Classic Tudor also
he seemed to slip on the... That might be the trouble, Dan. This track was so hard Saturday. Now we've had this light rain all the time, and the track, when I walked on it, it was fairly firm still, and now it's... you know, I'd like to see it really either rain or clear up completely, and then the track would either dry up or it'll get that moisture in it. But here they are having a great ding-dong go here. Les Vos Ruler, he put up a great effort, but Torval and Dean, he's found plenty getting to the line. Robert Smurton trading, ridden by Craig Durden. He's a leading jumps jockey here, and he's got away on the line to win quite well. The big run was Zorbian. The way it got home, Dan, it gave them 20 length start, and it's got up and ran third.
Well, when that fall happened at about the 1,500 metres, there was a few horses that were inconvenienced, but it's amazing they couldn't pick themselves up after getting slightly interfered with. 2 horses just dropped out of the race completely. They were legless, and Zabuan, look, I'm not sure if he was directly affected by it, but all of a sudden he was 30 lengths off the lead, Gary, and just in a hopeless position. And it's amazing the amount of ground he actually picked up. Blue Star fell at about the 800. Now, he got to his feet pretty quickly. The jockey I couldn't see because he was underneath the running rail.
Dan, we'll get you to check on those in a moment, but someone else who got to their feet pretty quickly, Jennifer Chapman in the mounting yard. Jen, you've owned a winner on Melbourne Cup Day.
How's that? I'm so thrilled, I can't tell you. I'm just going to go out and lead him in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I might never get this opportunity again.
Talk to us while you do. Now, how were you during the race?
Oh, look, I can hear my heartbeat when this horse runs, because it's just so loud, and I'm so scared and so excited at the same time.
And of course it was a spectacular race too, Jen, and we hope those horses and riders are okay, but your heart must have been in your mouth a bit when those things happen.
Oh, it always is, because, you know, they ride 13 hurdles to get over, so it's always a bit scary. But he's a terrific hurdler, this horse, and he's given us a lot of thrills. This is a horse that didn't pass the vet, mind you. He had chips in his knees, and he's won 13 races, so he's been fantastic.
What about the second last? He hit it with everything bar his undercarriage.
Well, I'm glad he did, and it was a fantastic ride by Craig Durden too. So here he comes now. Can't wait to see.
You don't mind that it's raining at the moment?
Who cares?
Exactly.
Who cares?
Well, there you go. That is every owner's dream, is to win a race at Flemington on Melbourne Cup Day. Go on, Jen. Talk to Craig.
Good on you, Tory. What a chance. Well done, Craig. So thrilled. Come here, Tory.
How about that?
Oh, what a horse. What a thrill. This is fantastic, Pete. Oh, every owner's dream, I would think. on Cup Day.
I think Jen's going to be talking about this moment for the rest of her life.
Well, I am. I don't care if I get all muddy and dirty for the rest of the day. It doesn't matter.
Oh, be careful of the shoes, Jen. You know you can't do that to the
Not
shoes.
through the grass.
There you go.
Well done, Tommy.
The winner's stall at Flemington on the first Tuesday in November. Torval and Dean, congratulations to Jen, to Craig Durden and to all of the connections. What a wonderful moment to start our coverage of Tui's new Melbourne Cup Day. Numbers in the first are 5, 4 and 6, and we'll be back to see the smile on Jen's face, the wait signal and the dividends after the first, right after this.